stream. Marantz is on. Oh, spotlight. And all right, let's do this. I guess I got an opening bit.
It's no.
Oh, let me pull up the canon of Masaaki Yuasa. Here we go. Do. Okay. It's Wednesday, March 21st, 2018. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, we review Lou Over the Wall. Got to do something I only get to do 2 or 3 times a year today. I wore
go
the...
to work in the snow.
Yeah, so many people didn't go to work, and it was totally fine. But I realized all the people who didn't go to work are the people who don't live in the city. Basically, if you work in the city but don't live in the city, it sucks. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone who lives in the city was just in the office, and everyone who doesn't live in the city was working from home.
Pretty much.
I got to wear my fancy boots.
Okay. I mean, you could wear them whenever you want. You don't have to wear them when it snows.
They're so big, and they're the most comfortable shoes I own, but they're so big and clunky that there's very few occasions to ever wear them.
My boots that were very expensive and high quality, the rubber part just had cracks in it recently, so I had to get new ones.
Oh yeah.
And then I realized, wait, these are so old. I had them when I lived in Beacon.
So you can't be too salty about that.
No, but I bought new ones, and the new ones I got, I guess, were highest rated on Zappos or whatever. And they're the kind where there's no laces or anything. So at first I ordered the regular size, but they were all slippy, so I ordered the size smaller, and that was better. But the inside of them is all fuzzy and cozy, like a slipper you would wear in your house, but you would never know by looking at them.
Oh.
So it's like I'm walking around and my feet are like, but everyone, you looking at me, it looks like I'm wearing a clunky boot.
Mine have
a leather boot.
An insert that is itself as big as an entire boot, and I can wear that like a giant comfortable slipper.
Mm-hmm.
And then inside of the boot is that, but then the boot itself is like this monster.
Mm-hmm. Well, they seem very good at keeping my feet warm and dry, so
yeah,
no complaint.
But yeah, the snow is not really a big problem, and everyone's kind of freaking out about it. But it seems like
we don't drive.
Yep,
we don't go far to work.
Don't have to shovel.
No,
because it seems like just a little bit
sucks
outside of New
snowy
York.
And cold, which is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it'll be warm soon enough. But I might ski this weekend with all this snow.
I mean, this climate change really is false advertising. It's supposed to be 90 degrees. I burned coal to make it 90 degrees in March, and it has not yet to be 90 degrees in March. I'm very upset.
I got to see how much snow we're getting upstate, because I think the snow's coming here more than it is up there.
I guess I'll just burn more coal this year.
Rolling your coal.
That's right. I gotta get it to be warm. It's too cold.
So you got any anime or animation-related news?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not super news. This is movie that came out, anime movie that came out in late 2016, and I guess at least I didn't notice any talking about it, but that could just be me. I think I
saw this mentioned.
I heard it mentioned one time. So this is a movie that's in the sad Hiroshima genre, which is
it's a genre,
a common genre of Japanese works of all mediums.
Oh, Mappa.
Obviously.
Okay.
But yeah, it's called In This Corner of the World, and the news is that this shit is on Netflix, and people didn't even fucking know about that. So I plan to go home and watch this on Netflix as soon as I get a chance.
All right, I guess this will be our next Wednesday show.
Maybe.
The Geek Nights Movie Club. Watch this movie. We're going to review it soon.
But yeah, it's like, wow, there's an anime movie that's totally legit that, showed up on Netflix, and the only reason I know is one person tweeted it. One person. No one else said a damn thing.
Yep.
If it wasn't for that one person, I wouldn't even know. And if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even know.
So speaking of
how did that go under the radar?
I don't know. I vaguely was aware of this in the same way
There's
that you
not
were.
that many anime movies. I figure if any one of them is even screened anywhere outside of Japan, that there would be like a big explosive, news, at least in the nerd channel.
Yep, or in the very least, we'll like find out just the way we do and get tickets and go see it because it'll usually be in New York.
I guess we missed this until now, but we're good.
But speaking of a tweet, if you don't follow Anna Twitter, like Mike Toole et al., Daryl Sir, like all those types of people, Mike reminded me today of a chapter of my life that was very important to me and people who were fans, not just of anime, but of East Asian cinema.
Well, any cinema that wasn't United States cinema.
So you young kids might not understand, but when we went to college, it was rare to have a DVD player. They were still...
When we got to college freshman year...
None of us owned one.
There was a we had VHS players. There was DVDs were super new. It was the year 2000. Even though DVDs, I think, came out in the late 90s. But people they were not widely adopted in 2000. They became widely adopted between 2000, 2003, 4.
Yeah.
And when we got to RIT, the PS2 was brand new freshman year, the year 2000.
And it had a DVD player.
It was a DVD player, which was, nowadays it's like, oh, it's a Blu-ray player, who cares, right? But it's like at that time it was like, whoa, I need a DVD player anyway, and a PS2. It's the same. That's like a huge deal. It's like it was a bargain because you're getting
even more important.
You're getting twofer.
DVD was like doubly important in that era because an anime VHS box set tended to cost 2 to 4 times more than the exact same show in a DVD box set.
And DVDs on anime were starting to come out that year 2000. That's when they first started making them for reals.
So we didn't have any money. And
there was a charity casino night that we went and gambled fake money to attempt to win a PS2.
We went all
share
in at the
between
end.
us, and we failed.
I wonder what would have happened across all our different dorm rooms if that would have been a radioactive man #1 situation.
Well, the other people we know bought a PS2 at some point. We didn't. So,
but what we did,
and our TV was much larger and superior.
But what we did is the summer between our freshman and sophomore year was this golden age where DVD players are actually really expensive.
Yeah, they were like $300-$400.
But there was a particular brand of, I don't want to say they were bootleg, but they were dodgy as fuck.
This was the year 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
Not 2000.
This company called Apex, you could buy these Apex branded DVD players.
It was sort of like Vizio TVs used to be, where it's like, what the hell is that brand? I never seen a TV like
Sony
that.
Magnet Box?
Yeah, it wasn't like that, but it was like this brand you never heard of suddenly producing electronics and selling them at the store, right?
So we learned from the early internet while we were at RIT that the Apexes were special for 2 reasons. One, if you bought one, it cost like $100,
$60 sometimes. They were El Cheapo Crapo DVD players. We were up until that point.
I think I went to a Circuit City to get one.
Up until that point, I had borrowed / stolen a DVD player from someone else that was actually a Sony legit one.
Yeah, that DVD player was a powerful thing.
That was my best DVD player.
Well, we know for a fact that Scott owned that DVD player.
That is correct. That DVD player belonged to Scott.
I wonder if anyone on the show even knows that. Anyway, that's some. If you were a fan of us in like 2005, you might know what we're referring to. Anyway, so I did research and learned that if you buy an Apex, not only are they cheap, not only are they shitty, but if you bought the right one, meaning you had to look at the serial numbers and look for particular combinations of numbers, and like you had to look at the box and like figure this out. I was at a Circuit City. Like,
yeah, this was not buying on the internet days. This was buying in a store days.
Like I went to stores, like bigger stores wouldn't carry Apex.
Drove a car in the suburbs of the college town to the Circuit City and the Best Buy to look at DVD players.
Best Buy didn't even have these things, but
No.
I heard tell that a Circuit City a couple towns over had a bunch of them, and they were just in their original boxes on a pallet on the show floor. Which is what I needed because I had to look at the serial numbers and the version numbers and the model numbers to get this particular one that was either region free, we'll get back to what that means and why we cared, or was capable of being hacked to become region free. So the reason we cared was that there were a lot of anime DVDs, but more importantly, a lot of like weird East Asian cinema DVDs that were not Region 1.
Right. So even that expensive, high-quality Sony player would not play some of the DVDs you wanted. Now, some DVDs were unlocked. Like, we'd go to Video Barn, and they would have a bootleg DVD that would work no matter what. But
even Video Barn would flag, like, some of the movies they had, they're like, guys, this is Region 2. Like, they put a warning on the box.
Right. It's like you needed to have this hack DVD player to watch any DVD in the world because they were all region locked.
So, it's funny because Mike Toole tweeted about this. I think almost everyone from this particular era of anime fandom or East Asian cinema fandom in the U.S. did the same thing and bought the same shitty Apex DVD player because it was region free. And then, in retrospect, we probably only watched like 4 things that needed the region freeness at any point.
Yeah, also that DVD player is so crappy, it had problems like overheating and such, so we would like take the lid off of it.
Yeah, I burned this I burned a CD and I put it in there and I did some stuff to it that hacked the firmware to make it truly region free.
Right. Eventually we graduated to HTPC and we were still watching DVDs. What you'd do is the HTPC, you'd have a piece of software called AnyDVD that would unlock your CD-ROM.
Some DVDs would just play on computers without much effort, and some you had to mess with to make it work. This whole era flooded back to me, so if you wonder why Anna Twitter is talking about a particular shitty DVD player from the early 2000s, that is why. In some other really tiny news, Adventure Time, which I feel like we're going to have to do a big, like, even a short series on Adventure Time once it's done.
Do something.
It's ending. It is ending.
The end of all there are comics. I don't know if the comics will end, but the TV show will end.
TV show.
They might make, who knows if they'll make anything else. I don't know. There could be movie. Who knows what they're going to do, right? It's completely unknown. But the actual Adventure Time TV show, the original core real deal, is going to have a final episode 5 episodes from now.
There is a teaser trailer up now hinting at what the end arc will be.
I don't know, like, do they mean 5? Because Adventure Time is a weird show where one episode is like 2 tiny ones, but usually it's like there'll be a tiny new one and then a tiny old one next to each other. So is it going to be 10 tiny episodes or 5 half hours? Like,
I have no idea.
5 15-minute episodes? Like, how long is these 5 episodes going to be?
There's the thing, Adventure Time, like, I really like Steven Universe, and I like a lot of shows, but I think Adventure Time is going to survive and be remembered as one of the most important and influential cartoons in American animation history. Like, it's had a long enough run, and the sheer...
And it all started with that crapo.
Yeah, that short that we watched at RIT.
Who knows when we watched that? I don't remember.
We watched that at RIT. I remember very specifically because we were, for like a week, we were like, algebraic! And then we just forgot about it. And then later, someone was like, hey, they turned it into a Cartoon Network TV show. It's real.
Like, I didn't realize... It, like, when Adventure Time had become a TV show, like, I was like, I feel like I've seen these characters before.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't quite put it together that, that weird little one-off short somehow became a legit
I didn't even start watching it until several seasons in, and then I
didn't watch it until
backtracked.
several seasons in either. But then I watched every episode up to a point. Sometime I don't remember, maybe a couple years ago, and then I was like, "All right, it's gonna end." You say, "Well, I will just stop watching now, and when it ends, then I will go whoosh."
There's a lot that's happened.
I'm sure a lot has happened.
But if I had
the
to say
thing
one
about Adventure Time, it's real quick to watch. You can just burn through so fast.
But the most impressive thing about it, and the reason why I put it on such a high pedestal, is that the sheer scope of themes and styles that it has embraced over its run is shocking. They're like, pick any 4 random seasons and watch 1 random episode. They are so different, you might not even realize they're the same show. And yet they are all thematically tied despite this. The scope is breathtaking. The fact that it's ending is actually a pretty big deal. And then Scott will finally watch a bunch of this. I don't even know how they're going to resolve all the Jake stuff that they left hanging.
It's going to be one of those things where they don't resolve everything.
Which is dope. What I wonder, I don't care if they resolve any details of the story, because it's kind of like Evangelion and End of Evangelion. If you cared about those details, you missed the point. It's the same thing. What I wonder about is, how are they going to resolve this cyclical, almost Hero of Time story around Finn on the meta level? There's the themes are what I want to see resolved.
You don't have to resolve it. You just have to,
I'll put it this way. Where are they going to leave the overarching theme of the show, irrespective of the details, because they've hinted at a lot of very interesting directions. There's not much time left to solidify that.
You can only do so much in 5 episodes, however big those 5 episodes are.
Yep. They could have just kept going forever. Finn's been aging at a rate of 1 year per actual year the show has been produced. Like, he had his birthday in the show, and it lines up, like, recently. So I was kind of hoping they would keep going, and when I'm in my 80s, like, Finn the human is, like, 70-something, and he's just, like, the show's still going.
That show is being animated by 20-year-olds for your 80-year-old entertainment.
Okay, that was some good news. Yeah, Wednesday at Geek Nights consistently gets the lowest live viewage of any other Geek Nights.
Okay.
They got 4 people watching this.
Only 4 people or so say.
And they ain't chatting. Mondays get like 12 to 16. Tuesdays get as many as 20, depending on the game. I don't know how popular Thursdays are.
Maybe there's just so much anime content.
Maybe. Also, we don't do as much anime content as we used to. We'll see. We'll start some more.
Oh, we got to judge sometimes.
Yeah, we do. And we got to do the Dona Utena.
Let me check the old Annie chart.
All right. I'll start the things of the day. But anyway, things of the day. What do you got?
So this is a really kind of simple deal here, but it's a whole lot of fun, even though it's so simple. It's a website, and this website, all you do is put in a URL of an image.
Or upload an image.
And it will take that image and put it on a flagpole, and wave the fuck out of it in 3D. The end.
Oh, you can choose between Dexter and Sinister hoisting?
Yeah, and you can change the flag to be vertical, horizontal, left, right, up, or down. And you can turn the wind on and off. And that's about it. And you should definitely put a good goatsy flag up there first.
As you were trying to do.
How can you resist that as your first option?
I feel like goatsy is fading from the public, like, internet culture and consciousness.
Yeah,
that's probably for the best.
But the point is, if you need to, say, for example, make like a YouTube video or a movie or some kind of short, and in that you want to have a scene of a flag waving.
I guess I don't know what kind of rights are tied to this. I guess I don't have any rights.
I'm pretty sure you could just screen capture the box of the flag waving and scale it up to 1080p, and you're good to go.
Wonder what'll happen if I zoom in. Oh, look! If I zoom in, it doesn't. It zooms the web page, but not the flag.
Yeah, that's fine. The point is, this is pretty cool and fun.
Yeah.
It's a nice amusement for a short time and also possibly a useful tool.
So speaking of animation, you might remember, I'm pretty sure we made this thing today a long time ago, but IBM made a movie, an animation, like an actual animated cartoon, a short.
IBM made a lot of stuff. Did you see the Jim Henson IBM movies and shit?
But this was the one that was that was literally constructed of individual atoms, titled A Boy and His Atom.
Okay.
We talked about it a long time ago. I'm confident we did. So my thing of the day is not the animation, because that's old news. My thing of the day is that I found all these videos that explain in detail how the hell they made an animation with individual visible atoms.
Well, recently there was that photo of a single atom, right? That somebody won like the Science Photo of the Year award with, right?
So this is utterly fascinating, and these videos are all short. They're like 2 minutes. So even if you have no attention span, you can watch this video and learn a weird story about how IBM made a machine to literally move an individual atom around so that they could create a stop-motion animation.
Atoms are pretty small, so they're good for short attention spans.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of them all at once, real easily.
In the meta moment, the book club book is The Odyssey by Homer.
So I loaded that shit up on the Kindle on my iPhone.
Yeah, just start reading it?
So now, basically, the Kindle says I'll finish reading in like 12, 13 hours.
All right.
So add up poops and train rides and of 13 hours, and that's when I'm going to finish it.
I think we'll do the Geek Nights book club on Emily Wilson's translation of The Odyssey a week or two after PAX.
12 or 13 poop train hours from now.
You burn through it pretty quick once you start reading. Did you start reading?
I'm rereading the intro because just to keep it fresh.
The intro is the thing. Because
I read the intro and then I forgot half the intro.
The intro is actually really good, like really interesting. I learned a lot.
But I'm obviously
from it.
going through the intro pretty quick because it's the second reading of the intro.
Yeah, it's it's probably good to reread it if you were fuzzy on the details, because reading the actual Odyssey and keeping that in mind is really important. But it's good. Otherwise, if you want to go to our website right now, you can see Geek Nights judge anime by its cover. We did review the entire winter season of anime that's on now before it came out.
Yeah, and according to the anime chart, the next season of anime is starting in like 15 to 12, between 12 and 20 days from now.
So we're going to review that season very soon.
Yes, very soon, like maybe in, let's see, a week or two.
But what I need you to do, if you're watching this season's anime, is go watch our review of this season that we made before we watched any of this anime and leave a comment to tell us if we were right or wrong about any particular show. Because if you never tell us we're wrong, we're just going to assume we're right. If you want to see us live, well, guess what? PAX East is way sooner than you realize.
Ridiculous soon.
And we're going to be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on Sunday at 10:30 a.m., the third worst possible panel slot, we are doing the top 40 tabletop games you must play. If you want to see that panel live, there will be some content for you that will not make it to YouTube, but we're going to try to do the thing on YouTube. So if you show up to this panel, think of yourselves as the live studio audience.
Right. I mean, normally I tell people it's PAX, you got something better to do, don't come and see
You
our
don't have
panel.
anything better to do. It's Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's Sunday morning is actually like the time maybe you could consider coming.
And frankly,
Maybe.
if you want
Still
to...
something better to do, but not much. Not as much as other times of PAX.
Also, unlike other PAXs, I've realized something with our fans. It's really easy for people to find us at all the PAXs except East. East is so big and so dense that there are friends we know who go to PAX East who we never bump into in tabletop at any point. So if you're trying to find us there, you're basically effed. So this is the only guaranteed way to find us at PAX East. So yeah, we went to see at the New York International Children's Film Festival, as we do, anime movies, and one of the movies we saw is Lou Over the Wall.
This is the opening of the festival movie, right? It was dubbed, which I was surprised. I didn't know that was going to be.
The dub was good though.
But it was fine.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Some of the characters sounded like My Little Pony characters.
Yeah, I did not look at who the voice actors were to confirm that, but I was so sure that girl was Pinkie Pie.
Pretty, maybe. So this is also made by Masaaki Yuasa, who we talked about recently.
Who did an Adventure Time short.
Yeah, we talked about recently for Devilman Crybaby. So it's like, this dude, it's like, wow, he's making tons of crap.
Yep.
It's all over the place.
If I had to, on a really high level, try to pin down what I would think of when I think of Masaaki Yuasa, things that are a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
Well, what I noticed is he has this distinctive artistic style as most, you can tell just looking at it.
It'll go a little flat, a little stretchy, a little psychedelic.
Usually the way you can tell it's his is the lines of the characters get a little bit wobbly, right? Almost like they're made with a wiggly pencil, sort of. And they'll deform a little bit in sort of a Picasso-esque way. Like you take an anime character and then you don't go full Picasso, but you slightly Picasso it with wiggly outlines.
Yep.
And that's what the Yuasa style looks like. And you can see it in all his animes, but what's interesting in Lou Over the Wall is most of the time the characters are not drawn in that style or only have very tiny hints of his style showing through. Like a character will have a slightly elongated neck and you'll notice, but then in scenes where appropriate, where shit kind of, goes crazy and magical and crazy things happen, then everything goes to super Yuasa land.
Yep, and it happens like that. A song starts and it's crazy, crazy, crazy in your face.
All right, so that's the visual things about this. Also, it's an anime movie with a big budget, so it looks great in general.
Yep. The one thing I'll say though, if you think because you like Lou Over the Wall that you should immediately watch other things he's made like Devilman Crybaby, just look at what those things are before you watch them.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm going to say.
Anyway, so the second thing is, I didn't know, you might not know, this is a musical, right?
Yep.
Since it was dubbed, we had all replacement music, and the replacement music was,
it was fine.
It was okay. Yeah, but I'm curious what the original music was.
I'll find some clips to watch in Japanese. But
yeah, I don't know if it was a situation where the music was the same and they re-sang it, or if it was completely new music or not. I don't know.
I believe someone in my Twitter feed said it's the same song, they just translated and re-sang.
I believe it. It makes sense.
But the vague story of this, we won't spoil anything, because it's an anime movie, and it's good, and it's big budget. You should just go see it.
Yeah.
If you need the short review, just go see it. Like, find a pirate if you have to. Just see this movie. It's good. You'll enjoy it. You'll probably
Better
enjoy
than
it.
Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Yeah, this is better than Sort of a Stranger.
Better than Sort of Stranger.
It is better than most of the anime movies we've reviewed. It's really good. It's got flaws. It's not perfect.
No.
But if I
It's not like a Paprika or something.
No.
Right?
But if I had to say like what I like about it the most on an abstract level without getting into details or spoiling anything, it moves way faster than you expect it to.
Well, I think all Yuasa's work sort of have this sort of breakneck pace where things keep moving along crazy fast and seem disjointed, but you can still put them together in your brain. Like it'll cut to a scene and things will start happening. You'll be like, what? Did we just skip all that? Like, I don't understand. And then 10 seconds later, you just sort of accept it and go along with it and put it together in some way in your brain.
Yep. But like, if you want to say, like, you want a really simple sample of what that can look like, watch the Adventure Time episode that he did. Because it is literally like normal Adventure Time.
I think he also did a Space Dandy episode.
I think so. I never finished that show. I should. But the movie also covers a lot more ground and a lot more themes than you would expect from the first 4 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I think because of the speed of it, they fit more into it, even though it's also felt
like you'll get to
it
a
felt
point
slightly long, but it didn't feel like it dragged.
Like at
it
no
just
point
felt like it kept doing stuff.
At no point do you think, oh, I know where this is going, because you're wrong.
No, I had no idea where it was going.
And two, you'll get to a point.
I knew there'd be a happy ending because it's a kids movie, but that's about it.
But it also took a pretty dark swerve that could have continued swerving.
Oh yeah.
But
some of it's sort of like it has one of those situations where there are things happening where if you really think about what's happening, it's really dark, but it's presented in a way that makes it seem, bright for children, right?
Yep. Which is part of the we'll talk a few spoilers toward the end of this because I have some specific thoughts, but I don't want to ruin interesting aspects of the movie because the fact that you're going to have a hard time figuring out where this movie's going is a big part of how you might enjoy it the first time you watch it. There's a lot of music in it, and you'll get to a point where someone's dad shows up, and you're wondering what that's going to be like, and then the movie is just like 90-degree turn for a while. It's also subtle in that there's a lot of little things that happen on screen and a lot of little things that happen in the background that if you notice them are really fascinating, but you'll probably miss a lot of them.
Right, they cram. It's weird for an anime movie. It feels like they put as many characters in as you'd have in like a TV series, right?
But none of them feel like flat or useless. Like every one of them.
But the screen time of some of them is short, but you still get their idea and they complete their arc, even though they're only in there a little bit.
But that's it. All
but
these
you
million
can make
characters.
you can make almost half a Simpsons with the amount of characters.
There's a million characters who all have a recognizable arc and all have a recognizable and relatively complex character for how many seconds of screen time they have.
Yep.
Like the grandpa,
the old lady.
Yeah. There's every one of these characters.
Fish
it's like
dad.
It's like a Simpsons character. It's like you get about the level of Mo Sislak in season 6, 7 of The Simpsons. Like he's there. There's a character there.
There's a complete aside. There's a Mighty Mo Sislak comic book coming out.
What? I feel like I need to read that.
Go ahead and buy
Mo
it.
Sislak was my favorite Simpsons character for like 3 seasons.
Go to the comic book store and get it. It'll be out in like a month or two.
Now you're thinking of a guy with 2 knives. Oh yeah. But the music, not only is this a musical, but it is a story about characters who make music and characters who are invested in music and the power of music.
The literal magical power of music. Like it's not one of those things where like, they talk about the power of music.
It's like Grandpa says, don't ever sing songs by the water because the fucking mermaids will come get you.
And it's
true. That is literally the plot. The mermaid's like, hey, I see you got an electric guitar there.
And then you play music for the mermaids, and then they cast a spell and make everyone dance.
Yep.
Like
that kind of stuff happens.
That literally happens, not some sort of, metaphorical thing. It's like, no.
Yep.
Straight up magic.
But so the movie, on a face value, tells a really good kid's story. Like, this is a fantastic movie for a kid to see.
I mean, it was at the Children's Film Festival.
Yeah, but it is perfectly understandable within the bounds of Masaaki Yuasa and and straightforward on a direct face value reading. Because we talk about that a lot with Utena in our Utena analysis show, how you can the mark of good allegory is when you have a show or a movie or a work that works completely on a face value and works completely on its higher order metaphorical or allegorical level. This movie does that very well. And the metaphors in the allegory that are addressed are actually pretty complex, and some of them are pretty subtle. It is very easy to read the simple concept of mermaids as presented in this movie as a direct metaphor for death and loss.
Yeah, or for immigrants.
Oh, yes. And both of those stories work entirely self-consistently and do not conflict with each other or the face value story of there are literal mermaids in this town for literal specific reasons.
Yeah. There's also, there's all the sub-stories, right? Also have their own sort of like messages and arcs, right? All the way, the smallest one being like there's a girl who does the PA system for the town.
Oh my God, the fact that she had her whole arc and story and the echoing came back at the end.
Right. It's like she's this character you never see except for like near the end when one of the main girl like visits her for like a minute.
Yep.
And like, but you get her whole deal and she helps in the end and does a thing. And this person is maybe in the movie for a total of like 2 minutes.
But she matters.
Her story not only matters to the plot and she helps save the day or whatever, but she has like this message about like what should you do with your life and such and meaning and whatnot. Like, just her thing, has another message to give, right? It's not like this one big message of the movie with everything contributing. It's all these small separate messages that are all delivered separately.
Yep,
right?
but they all sort of resonate together to form a wave of like this higher order metaphor.
Right. They all like peak and climax and resolve together. Right. One of the bigger ones is like, this battle in the town for like trying to get more tourism money because it's a small town with nothing going on and all the kids want to leave because there's no future there.
But it also peaks with the literal battle of the old lady and her allies with spears trying to kill mermaids.
Yep.
There's a lot going on, and I was very impressed with the ability for all those stories and characters to work and not feel disjointed or distracting or plotting. I really like this movie.
Yeah. So it's like character-wise, you've got like the main character is just, he seems sort of like a cliche you see in anime a lot.
He is. He's the, I don't want to do with my life.
Dude who's boring. He's almost like Takumi. He's really good at a thing.
Yeah, he's just Shinji Takumi.
Yeah.
Takes Shinji and Takumi, mix them together.
Takumi from Initial D, if you don't know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Really bored, really good at something, but doesn't care.
Also
right? But then, discovers mermaids and is like, oh, now he's got a thing going on, right?
Yep.
Unleashes his driving power or his robot fighting power or whatever, music making power.
But he also makes
it's all the same.
Very poor decisions for dubious reasons, but the reasons make sense in the context of he's a dumb kid.
Right, but all the other characters are all crazy and fun, right? So you got this main girl who's sort of wacky.
Yep. She's like Pinkie Pie.
You got main energetic friend who reminds me of like Skeeter from Doug, but his I guess his dad is a monk in the shrine or something like that.
Oh, he does remind me of Skeeter.
Right.
Yeah. I'm feeling that.
We talked about the girl with the PA system. We got the like dad who's like, the go to school, do a good job, do something with your life dad. But that dad was in a rock band and is a hidden past. You got grandpa who's making umbrellas, but you don't know why until the end.
And then you find out why, but then that ties into...
But grandpa's like, don't go messing around with them mermaids.
But grandpa
clearly knows something about magic and isn't saying anything.
Grandpa's umbrellas tie into the death metaphor and the literal story.
He's a lot like the grandma in Witch's Flower, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's always that old character who is in on the magic deal, but
they have the scenes
they're done with it. It's part of their past, but now the young kid is experiencing it.
But they always have the scene where they see the evidence of the young kid interfacing with the magic, and they always go like, like the knowing, and then the scene cuts away.
But they let it go because they know they turned out all right.
Yep.
You obviously have the crazy mermaids. The mermaid dad, the giant hilarious.
That mermaid dad is my second favorite character.
Yeah,
he is so great.
You've got the people who own like the fishing company in the town, which I think is the main girl's family.
But to give you an example of like how subtle, because there's so little screen time for any of these characters to tell one of these stories, that the PA system girl that Scott mentioned earlier in the very beginning of the movie, there's just this disembodied voice coming over loudspeakers announcing like some mundane crap that's happening in the town. It's like the background sound during the panning shots and the establishing shots. And it's really annoying and funny because she says everything like, and today, and you hear all these echoes. The town council, will be meeting. And it's like really drawn out and funny.
And it's a running gag every time she makes an announcement.
But then that running gag,
you hear them mention the character's name. They're like, oh, so and so's making the announcements, but you never see this person.
Another character's like, oh, she's back in town. Wow, that's sad.
Yeah.
And then not only is her arc important, but the specific issue with the echoing is both important in the literal plot at the end of the movie and is important to explain her arc and the arc of another character. To get so much value out of a
running joke about the town being structured in a way, because it's a fishing village, right? And when it talks about Lou over the wall, there's this literal rock wall in the town
that casts a shadow over the town, almost like the historical legacy of the town casts a shadow over the future of the town.
There's like a legend of like the wall keeping mermaids out or something.
The shadow of the wall is the only
reason at the top.
Is the only reason the mermaids even live here. The mermaids are. You see where I'm going with this?
The mermaids get burnt by the sun like vampires.
Yep. But it's almost like the shadow of history is both informing the town, but also holding the town back.
I mean, wall is like the easiest metaphor in literature of all time, right? Walls and fire are like your two. Those are your two go-tos that are so easy. It's like the softballest thing ever.
So you should see this movie. Full stop.
If you're an anime fan, go see this movie.
Take your kids to see this movie.
I don't know how you can see it. I'm sure it'll be available streaming or somehow at some point. I kind of want to see it subtitled instead of L-dub just to see.
Yep. I don't even want to get into spoilers at this point because I feel like you should see this movie. But I do want to... It's not really a spoiler, but the only thing that bothered me at all, but it did bother me, was that they coded Lou, the mermaid, pretty young. Like, very young child. But simultaneously framed it as almost a Sasami situation of technically she's 900 years old. But they also coded her relationship with the main character as both childlike wonder, big brother, like show me the world, and romantic.
I read it more as a Fifth Element situation.
I did too.
Where the girl is like some sort of alien and she doesn't really.
I did too. And the movie does go out of its way to make it clear that the mermaids do not understand humans. They are these ageless, weird beings. They are utterly alien. But at the same time, she acted like a little kid, and then this much older kid was very much romantically interested in her.
Well, imagine though if Lou was like a teenager, that would have been also creepy.
No, if Lou was also a teenager, that would have been more Monster Girl. That would have been much more okay.
But then you got to start like, I think it'd be creepy because like then you start putting boobs on there and shit.
No, I think it would. She could have been coded a little older, but that's interesting because. Not really a spoiler again, but like I said, the mermaids are very clearly also used as a metaphor for death. Like there's a scene early on where he takes Lou around and they are near an animal shelter where there's a bunch of dogs. It is clear those dogs were going to be put down. Like that is obvious.
Yep. Two adults.
Yeah. Lou busts open the wall, turns all the dogs into mermaid dogs.
The mermaid dog is the best character in the movie.
The mermaid dog continues to be an important part of the story all the way to the end.
Yes, but the mermaid dog is the best character in the movie.
Is great.
It's a cute doggy that's super excited, but instead of two leggies, he's got a little mermaid tail. Where are the plushies? I want to see them.
Not without giving spoilers, just trust me that there are many points where the idea of someone becoming a mermaid is very specifically tied to the idea that that person has died.
Yep.
Simultaneously, that is reinforced by Lou saving all the dogs in the shelter by turning them into mermaids.
Yep.
During that scene, Lou, when the main character isn't looking, almost turns him into a mermaid. There is a reading of this that this kid was depressed and contemplating suicide, maybe not at the point of actually consciously contemplating it, but on that road. And that's pretty apparent the way he interacts with everyone and the way other characters are all sort of worried about him.
And because it's Japan.
Yeah. So that is the tip of the iceberg of the interesting things to read into this movie.
Yeah, most of the situations in which the mermaids turn humans into mermaids, killing / saving them, right, are situations in which that human is in dire life-threatening danger, and that's why it seems like they're saving them. It's like, oh, they're gonna die. I'll turn them into a mermaid so they don't die. But turning into a mermaid is dying. So,
yeah.
Right?
And it's hard to really, I promise we could back the things we're saying up quite a bit more, but just see the movie. I don't want to, ruin all these little tiny details. You'll get it, and it's real good, and it's definitely worth seeing.
It's worth seeing more than any other anime movie I've seen in recent months.
This is the best anime movie I have seen since... What is the last movie? Paprika?
No, we're not going that far back.
What's a movie since Paprika that we would say is better than this?
Better than that. I need to look at the list.
Yeah, nothing immediately jumps to mind for an anime movie, at least. I might be able to name an animated movie.
I like Summer Wars more than this.
Ooh, yeah, I think Summer Wars was a simpler story.
Yes,
but this is in the same level of quality as Summer Wars. I'll definitely agree with that.
It's real close.
Yeah. In terms of animation
it's
quality.
Also summery and warsy.
And I will say, if the only way you can see this in the theater is a dub is totally fine.
It won't kill you.
The dub works. I don't feel like
better
the dub,
than not seeing it.
Yeah, but the dub did not sound like an anime dub. It sounded more
Except for the character who's clearly also voiced by someone who does voice on My Little Pony.
Yeah, but that still didn't sound like an anime dub. It sounded more like a normal cartoon voiceover.
I think for the first few minutes, because I don't watch a lot of dubs, the disjointedness of the voices plus the mouth movement. It put me in that dub. It gave me that dub feel in my body, but then it went away.
Yeah, and when you watch a typical anime dub, that feeling never goes away.
That's true.
All right, that was a good show.